everything we've learned over 2021 and what we see forecasted coming into 2022. Wanted to share that with you today. My name is Jason Dutt. Justin, you want to say hi?
Yeah, hey, I'm Justin Smith, CEO here at OuterBox.
Awesome. I'm president here at OuterBox. Justin and I also do a podcast together called Search Authority, and that's been a lot of fun doing that. We decided to do kind of a year-end podcast / webinar video thing today here for you, and share kind of, what's that, Justin?
Said whatever it is, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit of a different format for us, so we just want to run through some of the things that we're planning on as an agency to help our clients with going into 2022. Taking what we've learned from 2021, applying it, and also, like I said, where we see search going into this coming year. So set you up for success. Pay attention. We're going to keep moving quickly, run through a lot of points. So here we go. Justin, you want to take us on to the next slide?
Yeah, awesome. So let's just talk about who OuterBox is real quick. If you don't know who we are yet, we're a team of just over 90 right now. We've been in business since 2004, focusing on everything from website development to search engine optimization, paid search, do a ton in the e-commerce space, really dominate there. So just a little background on who we are. We've won a ton of SEO awards, paid search awards, and we've been around for a heck of a long time. So, the information you're getting today comes from a halfway reliable source.
Something like that.
I mean, I'm only giving us so much credit here,
Yeah, I mean, if I get bonus points for the fact that I was on the internet when Google was invented, I mean, that does that count?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We've
been doing this a while. So this has been 2021's been kind of a wild ride for a lot of folks, even for us and even for our clients and our company website. There's been a lot of ups and downs. July kind of kicked our butt for a little while. The core update that happened, we've navigated through a lot of that, both ourselves as well as for our clients. So let's take them forward. Let's take them what we learned and where we see things going here, Justin.
Yeah, sure. So I'm gonna pull this slide up. So, one of the biggest things, let's just talk about paid search first. And before we get into what Google's looking for, let's talk about kind of just some of the general trends, not necessarily what to do, but just things that are happening in paid search and things that are happening in SEO. Some of these things have been happening for a few years, so they're not necessarily new just to 2022, but they're continuing on into the next year. So from a paid search perspective, paid search is a bidding model, meaning if I'm willing to pay $5 to be number one and you're willing to pay $5.25, you're going to be ahead of my ad 90% of the time, barring some other variables such as quality score and things like that. But as more people are bidding on keywords, it's becoming more and more competitive as more businesses move online, still because of COVID, unfortunately. But more and more businesses are moving online and are continuing to do that and spending more on advertising. New advertising budgets are getting renewed. And even with our clients, we're seeing people wanting to spend a lot more money in 2022, meaning the cost per click on Google based on the bidding model is only going to increase.
Yeah. So Google's had a hell of a year this year.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, Google's earnings, their revenue is up 40%, profit up almost 70% year over year for, a multi-billion-dollar company, which is just crazy.
It's not a bad deal for them, right? But it's not a great deal for you necessarily. It's at the end of the day, you've got to position yourself in a way to take advantage of this, because it's not going to get any cheaper. It's not going to get any less expensive to be able to have those top rankings, to get that traffic and get customers coming into your site. It's going to get nothing but more competitive and more expensive. So talk about some of these points down here at the bottom, Justin, because it's getting into some of the things that changes that have happened within search.
Yeah. I mean, first I want to say in that second point, so for every $1 spent, most companies are only generating $2 in revenue. Meaning, you're selling $1,000 product, you're spending $500 on paid search to get that sale. Not very good when you think about it. It's surprising how successful Google is, even though you see metrics like that. But it just shows you why having a professional manage a paid search campaign is so important. You can't survive on margins, a typical business if you're spending $1 to get $2 in revenue. So,
right.
But yeah, e-commerce businesses, shopping ads are a total must. You'll see on a lot of searches now, if you just go search something like running shoes, might be a good example. Your regular text ads don't even display anymore. I mean, there's zero regular text ads. You're just seeing shopping feeds, shopping ads now. So kind of goes without saying, if you're an e-commerce business, you should be doing shopping feeds and Google shopping ads and not relying as much on text ads. This has been trending that direction, but in 2022, I mean, this is here to stay. Those text ads are pretty much disappearing. So your money really needs to go into Google Shopping.
Correct.
And so there's no more keywords. We kind of, Sam, who's our director of paid search, so he likes to call them theme words, because basically Google is looking at a term or a keyword that you put in, and they are going to display your ad, not just for that term, but for other things that they feel like are associated with it. And that's something that has become much more difficult to turn off, and you can't just do exact match anymore. So you have to think of it more as a theme word than you do as a keyword, and you really have to watch it. You have to add negative keywords and do all kind of other things and really manage these more than you used to.
Do we have any insight into what Google's thinking is behind that? I mean,
I mean, I would say Google's thinking is they want to make as much money as possible.
Right.
Just to be honest, probably anything that Google does is to try to make as much money as possible.
70% increase in profit margin kind of speaks to that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. So really what they want to do is say, hey, I know that you want to bid on this one keyword, but we know that's only searched 200 times a month. We know this in combination with all these related words that we feel like are the same are searched 10,000 times a month, and we want you to spend way more money. So we're going to show it 10,000 times. That's basically where they're going with it. And, hopefully through some of the statistics and stuff, they're helping you and they are nailing that. But at the same time, you can't rely on Google to get it right. We've seen so many times that Google's updates, their auto-applied recommendations that they've been rolling out, usually often hurt campaigns and make people spend more money and get less return.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's the key point. The automation that they roll out, the key point there is obviously the automation they roll out is not superior to being able to focus in and hand select where your marketing dollars are going.
No, I mean, a robot can't do it as well. Even when we start talking about SEO, we'll talk about artificial intelligence a little bit in content writing and how Google doesn't like that. So Google knows that robots can't do it as well as humans. And they try to auto-apply updates because I guess those recommendations auto-applied are better than absolutely nothing happening probably if you haven't touched your account in years. But, having a team manage it clearly is going to be, whether that's internally or an agency, is going to be a much better winning proposition.
For sure. So YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube, general display. There's better attribution as far as being able to tell where sales are coming from, where leads are coming from those channels now. Of course, Google owns YouTube and, has a display network. So with that better attribution is going to come more spend going into those channels as people can actually tell how well it's working. So
okay. Cool.
Perfect. All right. So let's talk a little bit about SEO and companies investing in SEO here. Still 70% of traffic is going to organic. So that means no matter what channel, no matter what keyword, and some keywords are different. Some certain search terms get 50% of traffic organic and paid. Some terms get 90% organic. You'll still see some search terms where there are no ads, which is surprising. But, so 70% of search clicks in general go to organic. So even if you're dominating paid, I know we work with a lot of clients like this. They might spend $1 million a month on paid and they're not doing SEO. And you talk to them and they're like, we're killing it, right? We're spending $1, we're making 10. We're not making 2. We're making 10. And there's really no reason for us to do SEO. Well, the reason to do SEO is you're only capturing 30% of the market. No matter how well you're doing it, right? You're kicking ass getting 30% of the market, but you're only getting 30% of the market. So when you think about it that way, if you really want to grow the business and you don't want to have to keep spending more and more for every click as that goes up, and you want to diversify your marketing channel, you really have to focus on organic as one. So even if you're number one in paid, you're missing out on potential customers.
Right. And one feeds into the other. That's what we always have to remind clients too.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing SEO and you're not doing paid, or you're doing paid and you're not doing SEO, not only are you missing a segment of the market, right? There's a segment of the market that'll click on ads. There's a segment of the market that won't click on ads, and it's a bigger segment, right?
Yep.
But not only are you missing a segment, by not participating in both, if you're not ranking in both your paid positions and your organic positions, the click-through rate for you plummets. So if you've got a better brand presence in both paid search and organic results,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to get a compounded click-through rate of people seeing you as a brand authority just because of the search results.
Yeah. Or, I mean, compounded click-through rate and just brand recognition, which is huge. And the other thing is, when you're optimizing pages organically for search, you're changing H1s, you're optimizing for your keywords, you're technically making your site more sound. That's going to improve your quality score on the paid search side and decrease your cost per click. So there's so many overlaps. The SEO team should be talking to the paid search team. They should be saying, hey, we rank number one for this, so let's maybe back down our budget on the paid side. Okay, we don't rank for this keyword. We got to up this one on the paid side. There needs to be that connection there and the synergy between those teams. Otherwise, you're wasting budgets where you shouldn't be.
Correct. Right.
So, and I mean, with more and more pages to rank here, Google's looking for the highest quality content. They're looking for the fastest speed. They're looking for the best visitor experience. And they've always been looking for this. So this isn't like, hey, it's 2022. We're looking for quality sites all of a sudden. They've always been doing that. But now with more and more businesses focusing on digital marketing, that you used to be, hey, we could be on page one if we have the top 5% of the best content on the internet. Well, now you have to be in the top 0.1% because there's so many damn people you're competing against. Right. So, it's the quality you have to build just has to be better and better, because there's only 10 spots on the first page of Google, sometimes 5 or 6 organic spots on the first page, and you have millions of results, so.
Right. As we wrap up, let's go ahead and take them back to the slides so they can see some of these points we're talking through a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, let's jump over there.
Yeah, we want to make this, here's the thing. What we're trying to do, guys, is make this a little bit of a different format of a webinar. We don't want to be a boring, there's plenty of those boring. If you just want to see a bunch of slide decks and listen to boring people talk, you can do that. We're trying to get this information across to you in a way that's a little more fun, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
So hopefully
you can let us know if we succeeded. Send us a comment or something.
Yeah, you could say you guys are just a couple of jackasses. It didn't work at all. That's okay. Yeah. You're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Good feedback, bad feedback. We'll take all feedback because it makes us better in the end, right?
Yep.
Cool.
All right. Awesome. So let's jump into now, I guess, some tangible things that we can actually do. So what is Google looking for from, an organic perspective? And we can also apply this to paid. How do you get your quality score up?
Are you going to put the slide back up?
Oh, you should be able to see it.
Oh, well, I'm not. So hopefully they are.
Well, it's there. Hopefully everybody else does.
All right.
So pretty much what we're looking for is Google's looking for quality. One of the big things that everybody asks us for these days is about Search Console. Or not Search Console. In Search Console, you can see your Google Core Web Vitals. So your Core Web Vitals are basically, Google is now ranking your site and rating your site based upon loading speeds, based upon what loads first. Do things load above the fold? After things load, do ads come in and mess with the user experience and make navigation tough? So Core Web Vitals is super important. You want to have great scores on that. Tons of sites that we look at literally are saying they're serving 0% good pages. So it's not, atypical at all that we jump in there and it's just no page is good on your website. Even sites that are ranking well. So Google's already said this is part of their algorithm, but I think it's becoming a bigger and bigger part for sure. Google's never going to roll out something like Core Web Vitals, make it 20% of the algorithm instantly, right? They're going to make it 1% and then 2 and 3, and they're going to make it more and more important so they don't have this massive shock effect and delete sites from their results, basically. So that's huge. Perfection or near perfection is possible. Again, average sites, when we see, you can use the Google Page Insights tool. You might see score a 10 or 20 out of 100, but really that should be in the green. That should be 80 plus, hopefully in the 90s. And that is possible. It can take some technical optimizations for sure, but if you work with someone that knows what they're doing, they can get it done.
Right on.
You want to talk about niche landing pages, Jason? We did a podcast about this one, but this is just like, this is huge. This one's awesome. I think as we're talking about more and more quality, what Google wants to serve up, what they want to give the user, niche content is where it's at.
Yeah, absolutely. So the more you can, all the niche landing page is a very focused page on a specific topic that speaks directly to what the user is looking for. So the more that you can hone in on exactly what what customers are looking for at different parts of the buying process, speak to them and expand that content, the more you're going to win. Google is giving huge priority to accurate content to the search, right? We all know that. I mean, that's like common sense kind of stuff, but it's getting more and more and more detailed. There's a lot of Q&A that's happening on Google right now, a lot of questions to answers. How people search doesn't really changed a whole lot over the years, although there's a lot of questions that people are typing in questions. And if Google can tell that your site is specifically addressed to answering those questions, that's going to be a win for you. You're really also going to want to be able to target in on those different, like I said, those different parts of the buying funnel. You might have folks that are just in the seeking stage. They really don't know. They're interested. They don't know exactly what they want to buy. They know it's in this realm. They haven't picked it. And if you can write an article based specifically to something like a buying guide or an honest comparison, right, between yourself and a competitor without getting yourself in hot water legally, obviously, those kinds of things Google is going to love. Yeah. Google is putting less and less priority on stuff where it's, hey, look at me and how great I am, right? And more priority on, hey, look at everything and let's have an unbiased review of all these different options. That is becoming more and more prevalent. And if you can step outside your comfort zone just a little bit and be willing to be transparent with your customers in your comparisons of your product with maybe even other competitors or the leading brand or whatever terminology you legally have to use, Google's going to like that. And get, like I said, get focused. The more you generalize, the more you disappear.
Totally agree. Okay? Yeah, it's like the article we did about SEO pricing. How much
Correct.
do we typically charge for SEO? How much does an overseas company charge? You search SEO pricing, we're right at the top of the search results. There's no other way to rank for that term other than to write an article specifically about that. It's not going to happen by, talking a little bit about it on your main SEO services page. You have to have an article all about it. And writing those long form content pieces, that second to last point that I had on that slide, and even longer form content pieces, a shift to long form content, having 2,000, 3,000 words, that's what Google's ranking. But at the same time, you have to think about the user intent. You have to think about what people are searching. Again, we always use if someone's looking to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and they're looking for instructions, do you write 2,000 words? No, that's not what Google would want in that situation. So you have to use common sense. And it's hard when you're writing content to think about what does the customer or the visitor searching that keyword want to read, not what do I want to tell them.
Yeah, absolutely. And the irony of this is how it starts to apply a little bit. I mean, long form is definitely preferred by Google. That trend is continuing. We've seen that. You do have to think about search intent, but on the other hand, I mean, think about if you've never Googled a recipe, okay? This is probably a crazy example. So go Google a recipe. You want to find out how to make fried chicken. Okay, so you Google a recipe for fried chicken, and you're looking for the best, Southern style fried chicken that you can get. You do a Google for fried chicken. You're going to get a bunch of different search results for fried chicken recipes, right? And every one of them, I guarantee you, is going to be, well, back in my day, we went across the river and went and saw grandma's house, and I could remember the smell of the fried chicken from out on the front yard and the porch swing and blah, blah. It's like, who cares? I just want the flipping recipe.
Yeah, you have to scroll for 30 minutes to find
Right.
the spot on your screen that's this big that has the 4 ingredients.
Right. Now, you would think from a user intent perspective, that's not very good, right? However, that's what ranks. Because why? Because it's telling a story. And I think a lot of what Google's looking for right now is they're looking for people who can tell a good story. Who are they engage? Who can create engaging content that people want to consume?
Yeah, and using AI too, they're looking at images. I mean, again, that recipe thing.
Right.
I could go on forever about this. It drives me insane. But you know, you look at a recipe and there's like 800 images of fried chicken on that page. There's every little angle. There's a zoom in spot of the breading. There's like, it's like, what is going on? Why do I need all these pictures? But again, AI, Google says now it can understand what's in an image. It's ranking images based upon, you know, what the page it's on, and does it make sense and all that kind of stuff, and is it related? So having awesome images is the same thing, you know, might not always make sense, but that's what the robot's looking for. That's what artificial intelligence wants. So
right. And it's kind of picking up and borrowing from some of the trends that you see on social media too. I mean, with organic social, it's photo quality, engagement, all those kind of things. So that kind of, it's not directly translated yet, but that philosophy and that attitude of what's happening on social media and determines of what ranks where seems to be creeping over into Google.
Yep. So I guess this third bullet point on here, educational content will boost an entire site. Don't just sell, educate the customer. You know, that kind of what we're talking about. You know, write good articles, write buying guides, you know, give them how-tos, all that kind of stuff. Google wants to see that you're not just selling products, but you're a brand. You help inform people, you provide quality content. If you can do that, they'll also rank your product pages and your categories and other things that are direct sales pages. So, and again, talking about quality content, if you have low quality pages, you have pages that have been around forever, they're out of date, delete them. There's some of the best sites that rank the best on the internet. They have the most traffic. You'd be surprised how few pages they actually have, but the pages that they have are awesome. Talk links real quick. In the last algorithm update, felt to me like links became even more important again. I saw some weird things. You can't say it's going to happen forever, but links right now are definitely important. And I saw some strange sites ranking that just had links. So you got to watch that. You always want to engage in a link building campaign that is, you know, is not black hat. It's done the right way. You're really trying to get your brand out there, but you know, don't build spam links. But linking right now is really important in Google's algorithm, and it's pretty obvious.
Yep, absolutely.
And then this, I thought this was
always
no, go for it.
Oh, sorry, Justin. Yeah, the link building has always been one of those things that's been it's a game of ping pong that's been going on since day one, really, within Google, and how much they weigh it and how much they don't. And you think you're doing the right thing, and everybody goes out and builds a bunch of links, and next thing you know, Google says, we're not real happy with you right now, and penalizes you because of all that work you did. Even if you have links that are, you know, not necessarily black hat, but if they're not 100% legit, coming from quality, you know, domain rating websites that are related to what you're doing, you could be getting in hot water. So long term, short term, you might get a boost, but long term, you could be getting in trouble. So be careful, like Justin said.
Yeah, and it all depends on your link profile too. It's the balance of how many spammy links do you have compared to good ones. So if you're a brand that's been around for a while and you have 10,000 links coming into your site already, and you build 50 that aren't great, it'll probably help you and never hurt you. But if you're a brand new site, you really have to watch it. You can't just build 100 spammy links as your first 100. So bigger you are, the more you can get away with. So this is, I thought was interesting. Google actually came out and said this because there's so many of these AI robot writers now, right? I think you go on Facebook, at least I do, because, you know, I look at digital marketing stuff, but every ad I see is for some robot to write my blog post for me now, so I don't have to write it anymore.
Yeah.
So I actually tried one of them, and it was absolute nonsense. But it is interesting. Google said as AI becomes more and more built into people's writing processes that they are working to make sure AI content doesn't rank. They don't want robot content to rank. You can see that would cause a big problem for Google if people could just generate content. And that's all you get is a bunch of spit out crap on the first page. But they want real content. They did say, however, you can use AI content as long as a human edits it, make sure it's right, make some tweaks to it. Not a bad place to start. So I still think the tools that exist for those, from some short form content pieces, if you want to write a Facebook ad, I think they help and they get some good ideas for that. But I've tried all of them, and getting them to write a blog post right now is pretty horrible. But I'm sure that's going to get better and better as we go through 2022, and people are going to find ways to integrate AI content writing more and more.
Sure.
And then the last thing in here, I guess, is videos to back up your content.
Yeah.
We've seen this strategy work so well. We have it on some of our articles. I think our SEO pricing article, again, maybe our e-commerce features page, where we've embedded a video into that page, maybe a video like this. This is a video we could embed into our search marketing 2022 article that we write. Having a video on your page with all your content is really just showing Google that, hey, not only have we built awesome content from a words perspective, but we've done it from a video perspective too. We've embedded a 20-minute long video or a 2-minute long video, and it's bringing the whole package to the visitor where they get, a text experience and a video experience all in one. So Google absolutely loves that.
I'm going to put you on the spot here for 1 second. The with video, I know we've as we've been working through 2021, we found two seemingly competing ideas. So one is putting video on the site or on a page really boosts its credibility, and Google loves it. On the other hand, 90% of the time when you put a video on a site, it reduces its speed score, right? Yeah. So which is not what Google wants. So how do you balance that out?
Yeah, it's strange because
or do we know yet?
You'd think with YouTube being a Google brand and Google loving video, that putting a YouTube video on your site wouldn't kill your Google score. Mm-hmm. Makes no sense. But if you embed a YouTube video using regular embed code, it'll typically make, if you have, let's say, a page speed 90 in Page Insights, Core Web Vitals type score, it'll probably knock you down to a 75. I've seen it knock it down 20, 25 points. Mm-hmm. So there's a couple of things you can do. There's ways to load videos after. So basically you get to the site, it looks like the video is loaded. It looks like a play icon, but when you hit that play icon, then it actually loads the video. So Google's never seeing, there's ways to embed the code so that Google knows there's a YouTube video on it, but basically it just doesn't hit it from a loading perspective.
Gotcha.
That's the best way to do it. That's the way we're doing it on our site right now. So I would recommend that. If you can't, I still think having a lower score and having a video is probably better from a ranking perspective right now. And I would be shocked if Google doesn't somehow fix that, because it makes no sense that embedding a YouTube video is hurting your score when clearly they like it. So it's one of those things where, like all Google SEO things, do you believe what you're seeing in front of your eyes? Are you really telling me it's worse because I put a YouTube video on my page? I just don't know if I can believe that, regardless of what the score says. Correct.
That makes a lot of sense, Justin. Thanks. And how about that for just a little actual specific detailed nugget? We share some of those here. That's the thing with when we do the podcast here at Search Authority, we put these things out to the public. SEO is everybody's doing it, right? And in-house, there's some certain tricks of the trade that you have. So we always have to try to find that line between, like, what are we going to let out of the bag, right? And what don't we necessarily want to share with everybody? Because we do have an agency here to run. So,
with that being said, that's a great transition, Jason.
Yeah.
With that being said, call us so we can help you. So, it's time to dominate next year. If you need help, it's probably why you're watching this video, maybe to get some insights for yourself, but looking for an agency, we can help you. We can do an SEO blueprint, which shows you what we'll do for you in the future, what we feel like is most important for your site based on where you're at, your site's age, the keywords you rank for. Every plan we build is custom. We can do a paid search audit. We go through everything that we know is working in paid search, and we look at your Google Ads account and see if you're doing those things. We do a website review, email marketing review. Email marketing is awesome, super high conversion rates. Clients are killing it there. So
yeah,
we would love to help you. We'd love to do an audit, show you what we can really do, how much that would cost to make that happen, and make 2022 the best year you can have.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. We appreciate you. This was fun. And I hope you got some insight here, and this was helpful to you. Like I said, if you did like it, if you hated it, if you think we're a couple of idiots, whatever the case is, you can let us know. Doesn't mean we care, but at the end of the day, we hope we hopefully gave you some value, and you made good use of this last half an hour. So, thanks for joining.
Thanks.